AMP SEO. So I'll say this, if you build a website, if you're starting from, let's say, ground zero, right? Obviously this will kind of change if you already have a media site, but if you're building from ground zero, if you build for AMP, you will essentially be ticking off two boxes. You'd be ticking off your box of getting an AMP, right? You'd also be in the majority scenarios, you're going to be ticking off your mobile box, meaning your mobile SEO box, if you are, your site speed box, right? Because building for AMP, when you're building a page, AMP, especially when AMP launched, it's a very reduced, think of it as, well, I'm sure you know, but even audience, you know, who's listening in, AMP is a dumbed down version of a web page, right? It's the very bare minimal to launch, you know, the web page. It's like if you wanted something like very granular speaking, like a granular response, and I give you just this like big, broad, you know, response, like here it is, just take my one line answer kind of thing. It's very minimal, right? To launch a page with the very minimal aspects. So automatically, when you build a page like that, you're typically reducing modals, you're typically reducing, you know, APIs and, you know, different fancy jQueries, like drop downs and like all these, you know, fancy things that happen. Your site is probably going to be fast anyways, right? If you build for that. Right. When I think of the technology of AMP, I think AMP is only going to get better. Developers, I've seen an increase in AMP developers, which, by the way, when AMP started, that wasn't even a thing. Like, no one even knew what an AMP developer was. But also AMP itself, there's very little things that you can do with JavaScript normally that you can't now do in AMP. So it's constantly progressing. Yeah. So I would say it's something that that people should be putting an effort to. Now, as far as, you know, when it comes to mobile SEO, mobile SEO is different than regular desktop SEO, and in a sense, and I'll explain how is, if you're a media site, so traditionally media sites are writing, you know, these big articles, and I've even seen a downtrend in word count on pages, but you're this huge media site, you're writing tons of content, 2,000 plus words, right? Nobody, like not on a mobile device. We're not reading 2,000, like that's like 10 minutes of scrolling, 2,000 words, right? So that's how it differs. It is really like usability, user experience. As far as the SEO in general, site speed is more of the critical thing, but if you're comparing apples to apples, the reason why Google went mobile first indexing is because there's people who have certain content that's viewable on mobile that's dumbed down, but they're taking advantage of their desktop rankings, which is keyword rich, you know, tons of content, you know, constantly, you know, putting content in different keyword things and title and header tags and stuff. So I would say from that aspect, it is different. Now, if you're a media site, right? If I owned a media site, and what I tell my clients is you should build for mobile. Do not build for desktop. If you build for mobile, you will future-proof yourself for any potential algorithm updates that can come if you build for mobile. If you build for desktop and then think you're going to create a mobile version of that, it's going to be very difficult. You're wasting a lot of good money.